Right, we are derailing this show, so let's finish with this. Nico O'Reilly got... this is from Chris on the emails. Nico O'Reilly got another brace in the cup final, and all the attention goes on hat-tricks. I always loved that Sergio Aguero's first and last goals were part of a brace, and that his debut mirrored his final game. Do you have any favourite braces? Well, Chris, it's your lucky week, because Ciaran's wanted to do something on braces for a long time. He's been off work, the international break has happened, so let's do it. Here we go.
Before we begin, let's get strict with our definitions. For the purposes of the next few minutes, when we say a brace, what we mean is 2 goals, and only 2 goals, scored by the same player in a game. We're not going to include any times when that player has added a 3rd, 4th or 5th. And, since Chris's question mentioned Sergio Aguero, that's where we'll start.
The first goal's superb. I mean, I still think the way that he's arched himself and arched his back and everything into it, that ball, he was so in control of that. The second one, I mean, just even thinking about it, it's just, it's a beauty, isn't it? That ball is like a rocket. It's swerved, it's dipped. It isn't one of those, I lit it and hope. That had one destination.
That's City fan Dan Burns on the podcast way back in 2011, speaking about Aguero's debut. He scored a brace against Swansea, coming off the bench to launch his career at the Etihad. On his final appearance there a decade later, Aguero scored his 37th brace for the club, again coming off the bench, this time against Everton. Richard Burns was on the show after that game.
It's just sad that he's going, because you sort of feel sometimes like somebody's going to be there forever, because the absolute constant in watching City over the last decade has been Sergio Aguero scoring goals. I don't think there's been a bigger constant than that, other than knowing that the Blue Moon podcast is coming every Thursday or every Friday. Like it's just a magnificent footballer.
No player in City's history has more braces than Aguero's 37. Although you'd expect Erling Haaland will catch him in the not too distant future. He's already on 27, just 10 behind Aguero, and, like Aguero, Haaland's first brace came on his debut. Adam Carter from Stat City was impressed.
It was such a surreal feeling when he put through. I was just like, goal, 2-0, job done. Everyone's happy, even with the penalty. And you know from our recent penalty stats that's never been a given in the last 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, that'll make coaching out of him, won't it?
Exactly. Ruined our preconceived ideas of what was going to happen there, didn't he?
Aguero and Haaland are the top 2 brace scorers for City, and there are only 7 more who have scored more than 20 braces in their careers with the club. Tommy Johnson and Francis Lee of 24, Horace Barnes and Joe Hayes of 23, and Tommy Rowell, Billy Gillespie and Alec Hurd have 20. Even the legendary goalscorer from the 1920s and 30s, Eric Brook, only managed 19. This is City fan Harry Bramble speaking in about 2002 about watching Brook play.
I think that in 2 most entertaining players that have ever played for City were Tilson and Brook. They were absolutely fantastic, particularly Brook, because he used to never stop. If they weren't giving him the ball, they used to go and get it. The Retton, he used to put on 10 of 20,000 for away fixtures. He had such a reputation.
Gary James explains more about what Brook brought to City.
He played on the wing, if you like. I mean, obviously it's a traditional formation. However, what was different about Eric was that he liked to roam. He was known as a roaming sort of player, and because he was only 5'6", quite often he'd suddenly pop up in like the centre forward position, surprise everybody, and then head a goal. He was well known for his sort of bullet headers. The great Stanley Matthews talked about Eric Brook as having an head of iron. And, you know, the fans that I did talk to who remember him do talk about Eric Brook just being the sort of player that would fight to get the ball, and then he would use his force and be dynamic and so on, and really put the opposition under pressure.
Let's go right back to the start now and get the numbers. City's first ever brace was scored by Mitchell Calvey in a 4-1 win over Port Vale at Hyde Road back in September 1894. It was just their 3rd ever game as Manchester City, after the club was formed that summer. And it was the first of 1,076 braces that would be scored by 249 different players. What started with Calvey at Hyde Road has now reached Nico O'Reilly at Wembley, 132 years later. On last week's show, Casey spoke about O'Reilly's 2 goals in the cup final.
He was very composed, and don't get me wrong, he looked like he very thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not saying, he tempered his celebration at all, but he definitely presented himself as if this is the start of much more to come. Both goals very intelligent. Like, I think you've described it as ghosting into the box, but I think he's he's very clinical. If he sees the space, he will take advantage of it.
Some players, like Aguero, Haaland and Brook, often scored more than a brace during their City careers. But for others, 2 in a game was as good as it got. There are 158 players that never managed to turn a brace into a hat-trick or better, with some notable names like Ilkay Gundogan, Sean Wright-Phillips, Dennis Law or David Silva among them. One of the most famous, though, is Josko Gvardiol, especially as, on a brace, he rejected the chance to take a 96-minute penalty when City were 3-0 up away at Fulham in 2024. The Sun's Martin Blackburn could understand why, though.
You've not had many Premier League defenders who've got a hat-trick, have you? So it must have been tempting for him just to. I think he would have scored it, to be honest. But yeah, it was a good. It was the right call, wasn't it? I mean, it's not going to go down to goal difference now, I don't think, is it? But potentially it could have done had results come slightly differently since then. So. Give it to the guy who you think is going to score.
On the reverse side of the coin, there are 9 players who've scored nothing else but a brace for City. Most are from decades ago, but more recently, Brahim Diaz and Jack Rodwell both scored braces for City and never scored any more or less in any other games. Paul Atherton spoke on the podcast about Rodwell's brace against Norwich on the final day in 2013.
We questioned Mancini's signs in the summer, and Rodwell was one we never really mentioned because he was always injured. And what I like about him is the fact that he's good going forward and defending. I found he's fast and he can pass, so he just shot rather than cutting back into his right foot.
No team has conceded more of City's braces than West Bromwich Albion, closely followed by Burnley, Wolves and Manchester United. In the top flight, City have 685 braces, with 197 in the Premier League. The first of those was by David White against Norwich, with the most recent by Nico O'Reilly against Newcastle. In Europe, there have been 36 braces, the majority of which have been in the Champions League. Yaya Toure got the first against Villarreal in 2011. Meanwhile, in the FA Cup, City have a total of 74 braces, with the most recent coming in the last round as Omar Marmoush scored twice against Newcastle. It would be good if that total could be increased on Saturday, because when a City player has scored a brace against Liverpool, they've not been on the losing side in more than 100 years.
So, Ciaran, it seems remiss not to make you do that and then not ask you first. What, like, for your favourite City braces of all time? I'm interested, like, just gut instincts from those that you can think of off the top of your head. 2 high quality goals scored by one player in a game. Go.
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah, against Newcastle in 2012. That just ticks all the boxes of what a brilliant brace is in terms of the level of importance. So it's an interesting. A brace is an interesting thing, isn't it? Because, like, sometimes it's 4-0 and somebody gets a brace in and amongst that, but sometimes it's 2-0 and the brace is everything. It's so crucial. So Nico O'Reilly the other weekend, and for me the Yaya one in 2012, just the quality of those goals. Showing off just the versatility of his skills, how much of a clutch player he was, and how vital it was in as it was getting towards the end of the season. So yeah, they were great. There are some. I mean, I think Balotelli's brace in the 6-1 is forgotten about, kind of because you associate "Why always me," and then obviously the scoreline and the 60,000 empty seats. But that was a lovely little brace.
The first goal of that brace is a lovely finish.
It's class. Yeah. And obviously Dzeko got the brace in that as well. But it got me thinking about some of the Dzeko braces are like so class. Because in 2014, the Everton Goodison game.
He's not remembered for a brace in that game, is he?
So yeah, so I think I'm associating Dzeko's brilliance in that game with obviously what he's remembered with, which was having a kip on the pitch for about 10 minutes. But yeah, that was that important. And then of course you've got like Gundogan against Villa on the last day. That huge. So it's a funny one.
Gundogan FA Cup final.
Of course, yeah. And that class goal that De Bruyne scored against Arsenal in the 4-1, where Haaland led his hair loose. Everybody kind of just remembers the first one because it was early. It was absolutely like insane scenes, and it was a gorgeous finish. But you know, he got another one later as well. So just these amazing players who.
I thought for a second you were going to sing "Amazing Brace."
Oh, well, I was looking at the kind of etymology of the word. Have you ever wondered why it's called a brace?
No, why?
So
God, he's got into English teacher mode here.
I know, I really have. Like, even it is international break boredom sets in. So it's through Old French from Latin brachia, meaning arms. So like a pair of arms kind of thing. But it also is like an etymological cousin of bra. So like that BRA kind of idea. So when you're commenting and you're like chuffed about a lovely pair of goals, there has that link with. I was thinking if I brought that up, it's probably the first boobs reference on the Blue Moon podcast in all these years.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I think, to be honest with you, nobody's got the transcripts of every show we've ever done, but I think it's the first time the word bra's been used on the podcast.
There we are. Who said international break doesn't pop up with surprises? Like,
yeah. Thom, I mean, Ciaran's run through a load there. The only other one I can think of off the top of my head of two good quality goals is a really painful game because the Manchester derby that City lost 4-3 at Old Trafford with Michael Owen. Craig Bellamy's 2 goals in that are fantastic.
So good. The first one is unbelievable, isn't it? Like properly drilled into the top corner. But yeah, we can't bring that one up. I don't think. I think it's weird. I really enjoyed this question because it's not the kind of thing you can just look up. I'm so impressed by Ciaran's research for that audio bit we just did, because if you type in Manchester City hat tricks, you get a load come up. But Manchester City brace, you've just like dentist stuff, isn't it? But yeah, off the top of my head, weirdly, the first one that came to mind. So we beat Tottenham 6-0 in 2015. And do you remember who scored it?
I've just had a memory of who scored this brace. Yeah.
Go on, David.
The corner flag. Fantastic.
That's the one. Jesus Navas.
How bad must Spurs be that they let Jesus Navas score a brace against them?
I just love it because A, what is Jesus Navas doing scoring a brace? B, the first goal is so weird because it's kind of after about 20 seconds, Lloris pushes it out wide after a good save, and then he just kind of first time clips it in off the back post as if it was like a cross. And then
this is the thing that came up recently, this goal actually, and like somebody said to me, like, do you think he was shooting? And I kind of said, if you watch the video, he has to be shooting because there's nobody in the box. There's nobody, like, you can't be crossing it to anybody.
But that was Navas, wasn't it? Crossing it to nobody. So, but yeah, and also the fact it was the 35 seconds in and then 92 minutes when he completed it. So it was about about an hour and a half, 2 hours between his 2 goals. So,
there must be a stat on that.
There is, because unfortunately, I always thought it might be the longest time between 2 goals in a single game, but it didn't break the record for it. Marouane Chamakh had done longer for Arsenal. Like a couple of years earlier. It's mad.
The only other one I'd say was as another De Bruyne one against Arsenal. So he scored 2 amazing goals away in a 3-0 win with about 20 minutes of each other at the start, and then he almost scored a hat-trick. It was about 30 minutes in, and it was a save that tipped it onto the bar from about 25 yards. And I think if that would have gone in, that would have just been the best hat-trick like ever.
Best hat-trick of all time, yeah.
But ultimately, it's a brace.
Yeah.
It would be remiss of me at this point, Thom, by the way, sorry to say that wasn't my research, and David will be bubbling if I let that one go.
Okay.
He wrote the script.
I wasn't going to say anything because it breaks the illusion that you did all the work for that, because it sounds like you did all the work for that, and that's the point of that bit, is to sound like you did all the work.
I would have been happy to, but yeah, no, I couldn't let that go. Like, I could see you biting the over there.
Well, in that case, since we're all being very honest, can I then say it would be very remiss of me not to mention Adam from Stat City, who a few months ago basically sent me his entire database of games and goals. So I just asked my partner Sam who works in data, so understands how to use Microsoft Excel to make pivot tables that show me how to filter out different things. And so I just made a list of every City player that had scored a brace ever, and filtered everything else out. And then I was able to just look at the stats from there and go, okay, well, how many did it on a Saturday? How many did it against Manchester United? How many did it on this? Like that. It's Adam's database that did it for me. So while you're thanking me, I'll thank Adam. There we are. We'll have a nice, lovely love-in to finish.
No, well done, everyone.